Steve, what do you have for us?
Following Thursday's dramatic meltdown between Artie and Sal and Richard, a peace initiative of sorts. FuckYouArtieLine.com suspending operations. We need more love and less hate, the creator of the website says. The creator of FuckYouArtieLine.com saying he's ready to put his provocative site back up if the guy came along.
It is interesting. Even I love Artie.
I know how it gets all it's very genuine. I'm the same way.
You're right on it.
To the Howard Stern.
I don't blame you. There you go. There it is. She stole it from George. Happening custom. Nobody say it.
Oh, that's the way you
And they continue to work together.
Peanuts is my favorite. I love Peanuts.
And I saw Sal and
You have a big peanut? Peanuts is my favorite. Peanuts is my favorite.
Not peanut.
Peanuts is my favorite.
Peanuts are my favorite.
I love Enoch.
I love peanuts so much.
I wonder what will happen if you pass this in the hall. You accidentally say hi.
I love
You might go
Enoch.
hi.
I love Enoch.
Say hi.
that almost happened.
Well, that is
This is
exactly
like
what
Berlin for perverts.
doing that kind of thing. Eventually, you sort of forget your
Repeat that,
moratorium
por
on
favor.
speaking.
I
and
love
you see
Amy.
the person you just automatically
I
say
love
hi.
Enoch.
What I do
Repeat
to
that.
combat that is I say an extra big hello.
Yeah, well,
I love Enoch.
repeat that, por favor.
You have to think about it.
Like I get Sal nothing.
Peanuts is my favorite. You have a big peanut?
That's gotta hurt.
I love peanuts.
If Sal was lying
Or maybe she loves peanut.
Maybe all this time this wasn't for small
David Arquette never showed up. Yeah. It's Buddy showed up, but not David. So Artie, I'm gonna ask. I don't know. I gotta remind David I leave.
No, I did see Artie, and I impulsively, I said, hey. And Artie didn't say hey back, but his eyes lit up a little bit, and then we just spoke.
Believe me, he's the best. So that's how it was. So you forgot to say hello. No.
Not that I forgot, I meant my hello, and I hope everything goes well in Artie's life, and that's it.
Will you continue to say hello to Artie when you see him in the hall? All right. There was a bunch of things I was going to do here. I heard a rumor and tell me if it's true. First of all, I feel sorrier for Artie in this than you.
Yes, you mentioned
What does that
earlier,
mean?
David.
I went home, I explained it. We had this.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things to play, but all right, if you want to do a little Jackie tape, then we'll get to the news.
I find out.
Yeah, Jackie promoted his show by saying that he was going to answer any
I
questions
felt like I
about
was attacking
meeting
his
our
profession,
show.
so if you notice, the riffs I gave him were his profession. This is a compliment.
So your wife
So I
decided,
said, she said, you stupid asshole.
but I mean, you know, it's the same old Jackie
Why don't
stuff.
you pull Artie's
But it was
side?
actually his best show.
I said, I know. I go,
Because it's always interesting to hear Jackie
You know,
talking
he's got drug issues. You know, he's got weight issues.
But you know, Jackie
He had
got
at the point where he was ready to have a heart attack.
Which is
God
why
forbid
that's the
he
beauty
does
of
something over the
Jackie.
weekend. She goes, have to
I mean, it's very simple. You know, Jackie needed to.
I couldn't live with myself. I go, God forbid that happens. I hope that's not the case.
Like, you need to be on the show. Right. In fact, if you get up early, more reason to stop.
That person
I wanted some more money, but it was no reason.
But it's got everything reasonable, and you know, all that kind of stuff. Your wife is on Artie's side.
Well, when my wife explained it, I said, I get your point.
No, it's always different when you're the payer and not the payer.
Yeah, I don't see him paying anybody. He's always looking for interns. Okay, here's Jackie talking about Benji ruining the business. You hear Benji? Or you don't? It's interesting that you according to Jackie.
If I did, you know, it was very weird that they sat Benji next to me because it was odd because we something
I did that. There's no they.
No.
Me. He never can say my name. You'll see that's a common theme throughout a lot of those stuff. I think your wife would leave you. It's me. I'm the come decided Artie's wife. You know,
he had the perfect show with his hat.
So this logic is terrific.
It was like putting an extra guitar player next to Paul McCartney. No, I'm done making a joke.
No, it's more like we have a show that does comedy, and I found a guy who's a good comedy writer, and I'm adding a comedy writer to the show. And I wanted him to experience being in the studio.
I feel like Fred saying that when Jackie came, he ruined the rest.
Well, yeah. You know what we should do? We should bring Jackie back on the
trouble telling me we're in the rhythm of our stuff. Have Benji fire.
A nice gesture from him.
I think Jackie would agree to any terms coming back. I'm going to make Benji
Yes, and that's a very
And the perfect rhythm and the perfect everything. And I was writing
according to him. Maybe I didn't.
So if that's how you feel,
jokes on the fly. But not only was I writing jokes on the fly, but Fred was writing jokes on the fly and handing them to me. So I was writing jokes, reading what Fred wrote, deciding.
I was personally attacked on my work. Not only the joke, the boat writing stuff, but on a professional level, I thought that was attacked.
Why were you bothered?
When I do his face, and I think they've actually come out from right. That stuff's not. I do admire celebrities. I always did admire. I try to attack you in a way where I felt I was
Fred's going to write, and that's it.
just on a professional level.
We're trying to get
And it doesn't hold up. No matter what I say, the truth of the matter is that's not true. You know your success, your parameters of success versus me.
Between the two, putting them up, and we had a perfect rhythm. It was clockwork. It was Tinker's Devil's Chance, to quote from the new baseball, or the old baseball DVD series. That's unbelievable. But we were a perfect team. Imagine, and what Benji wrote, or what he writes, is funny as hell. But it's like if somebody was sitting next to Fred, Ian, if he was sitting next to Fred and said, "Here, try this sound effect," I'm sure it would be great. But Fred's busy deciding what sound effect and putting it in. And if you're going, "What about this one?" He's got to decide which of the two. That slows things up. So now, instead of just Fred, I got what I'm writing. I'm listening.
I don't feel we could work together.
I don't even know why you want to come back with all the difficulty.
You ever hear such nonsense?
But the funny thing is that I am
that's kind of it. Believe me, I realize.
Listening to Howard while I'm writing, I'm deciding between what I wrote and what Fred wrote. Now I'm deciding between what I wrote, what Fred wrote, and what Benji wrote.
Well, imagine when I'm trying to talk and you're throwing up all these notes. That does not ruin my rhythm.
So I got my hand. There was no reason to have him, and I think that whoever sat him there,
Who put somebody on our stream?
Like on the Howard Stern show, who do you think put people in the studio?
We get along great. And I always make sure, I said, Artie, whatever you need, whatever I can do, even if it's running an errand, which I've done for Artie, happily. Whatever it takes because Artie gives me a lot of hard. Well, the thing is that
sat him and showed me like, you see how easy to replace. Imagine somebody sitting next to him.
In a dysfunctional family. I blew up. Artie blew up. I feel bad. And what was trying. I know.
I'm trying to teach Jackie a lesson, show you how easily I can replace.
Right. And I'm definitely, you're right.
I just like Benji
my
for a while, and working for us for a while.
That's basically it. I blew up. I felt like I was being personally attacked. I held it in, and I gave it back, and it turned out
I was trying to teach him really bad.
I just got all
well, that's where when my wife called me an idiot.
Wasn't looking to replace.
It's me always holding it. It's a combination of every time. Like I thought, like
No, you can get into that, though. It would be like, there was deciding between what I wrote, what Fred wrote, and what Benji wrote. So I got my hand, there was no reason to have him, and I think whoever sat him there, sat him so it'd be like, you see how easy it was placed? Imagine somebody sitting next to Rob.
No, you're not reading into that, though. Because you don't know exactly what.
Oh, no, I'm not, whether I'm reading into it or not, the point is, there was no reason. It's not like...
No reason. In Jackie's mind, everything was perfect. There was no reason. Or maybe in my mind, it wasn't perfect.
Why do you walk away?
No, he's saying the show was perfect. Why would I put Benji in? In his opinion, the show was perfect. I never think the show was perfect. I'd like to improve the show. I'm sorry.
We didn't have enough jokes. You know, imagine somebody saying to Robin, no, don't do this news story, do this news story. She's perfectly capable.
Nobody told him what to write. I just wanted more jokes.
A different perspective.
You all get along. We all have problems. Right. Got a little bit out of control.
Nobody ever said, well, the show's not funny enough, let's kick it into gear. You know.
I'm not here. I don't fight with people. You know what I'm saying?
Right, but do you think this fight is going to... Can you mend these fences? It appears like Artie's old school. He doesn't take...
Well, that's fine. Listen, we could go.
I basically said what I had to say. I expressed how I feel about Artie, and I can only change. I can't change Artie, but I respect Artie's decision.
Against Benji, but it was just an odd.
Well, he questions your sincerity. Are you really truly being sincere about that?
No, I'm not.
No comedy show ever has more right.
Anything else?
That'd be stupid.
Why would you have
What question is that?
Right.
What's the focal point of the
So what do I do? I've spent 25 minutes on the radio, and then you ask me if I'm being sincere. What's the point if I'm not going to be sincere? Why am I doing that? Why am I going on there?
I'm trying to gauge your sincerity.
How would you? I don't know what gauge it.
There's one clip where Jackie.
Well, now in one instance you're on the air, one instance you're off the air.
Well, I'm off.
Where he goes.
I'm on the air because it came up.
I'm saying sometimes you're off the air.
But I'm sitting here and I'm on the air and I'm explaining myself and I'm explaining my faults. And I'm coming back to sit down and I'm telling you I wish him well. And then you say, but are you being sincere?
Well, there's other factors.
I know there's other factors, but what type of question?
I'm trying to get you to look like
you're making absolutely no sense.
I'm making perfect sense. You're the one. You're just lashing out at me because you're in a bad mood.
I'm not. No, I'm just saying like I just don't.
I'm saying on the air it's easy to say you're sincere and to appeal because there's a bunch of listeners. But now I'm
okay. So that's the answer.
I'm trying to catch to see if perhaps maybe you're trying to pull one over on the air. That's all I'm trying to do.
Put the camera over here. Let's wait all day to see if I'm going to be being sincere. Greg, do you think I'm being sincere? Do you?
Now I do.
All right. Well, there you go. Being sincere. But I mean, come on.
He should have taken the money and lied.
Don't lash out at me, man.
I'm not lashing. I love you.
I don't think that's that terrible of a question.
I just think it's so crazy. You know what it is?
Sincerity's been the focal point of your argument.
What I asked for was.
What else can I do? I was honest about how I felt. I was honest about keeping everything inside of me. I was honest about not addressing it to him personally, so I wouldn't blow up and put it in his face. I was honest about all
I made a
of
firm
that.
decision that I wasn't going to
What
discuss
happens in the end?
numbers,
Who loses?
but I'm sure whatever you think it was.
There's tension in the air. There's there's fights left and right. Richard's not talking to Jason. He's not talking to Richard. You know what I'm saying? Like, who wants to work in that type of work environment? Do you think?
You know how Jackie.
I wasn't being sincere when I said I should have addressed it differently.
Do you think it's fair to say that there's been times when you've said something on the air and then come out here and told me that you're full of shit?
Oh, yeah, but that's not this issue. And I've said it a billion times.
So
it's called ball breaking. When you're breaking balls, you're not being serious. You're breaking balls.
So it's not a crazy idea for me to ask you that again. Even though it's
I'm saying after all this, after 3 days of this that we went through, after 3 days of it,
you're saying you can't tell at this point that I'm being sincere.
Right, I mean, yeah, that's my point.
I was just covering all angles, but I understand.
Listen, Greg, I love you to death. I mean, but I'm saying, I'm just saying at this point where I'm just
say don't ask stupid questions, man.
You don't ask stupid questions. I'm just like, at this point, you really have to question sincerity. If you do, then
Jackie drew a line in the sand and then left with sand. And now he's a beachcomber.
If you do, then
full time.
I have to question myself.
Hey, I'll just take what the offer was, but it was.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not blaming. If it's at a point now after all that, and you still have to say Sal being sincere, then I need some fucking therapy. Then I need to check myself, because if I still can't get the point across, then I'm really fucked in the head. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if I built a reputation to that degree.
No, I didn't ask for way too much. That is the honest to God truth. I've never ever said to myself, "Geez, I should ask for a little less." Because
I think over time this will heal itself.
it wasn't kind of a
like I said, I will always give all the respect and deserve, and I will always say hello to all.
And you can only hope that he'll come around.
That's exactly right. I wish him very, very well.
I sincerely wish you well, too.
Everybody well.
Came to me and said, "Look, we're not paying you.
Thanks, buddy.
You better fucking man up and get rid of this fucking guy. We're not paying."
At page 69, Jason Richard Christie is despondent.
He doesn't know
over
what
the
he's
end of his
doing.
month-long nationwide celebration of Halloween.
I felt bad for him. I knew he was committing career suicide. I felt bad for the guy. Called me a fat.
He's more upset over the end of the
got
Halloween
back on the
season
phone
than he is
with
about his
Tom.
bitter confrontation with Artie Lang last week.
Okay, we're done. And offer off the table. I'm not hiring. First of all, I'll tell you this. I don't care who goes to the basketball. I don't care how it goes to the basketball. I don't care if Mashiach himself lands on the earth. He ain't coming back. He's on Howard Stern. If Mashiach says, I don't know where Tracy got back. Where did Tracy get back? F you. He's not coming back. I'm not kidding. It's a filthy pigs. I've never seen that was it. And then he calls back a month or so later and he goes, these pictures of him, he smells it. He calls me. I'm going to take it. I go, it's off the table. And then I heard that it's gone. Richard had a really good friend. Party over.
This was in 1995. The last time I saw him, I heard from him.
Yeah.
Best friend in Missouri.
And the last thing you saw was when you interviewed with Van.
One of the last times. Well, that was like the best day
and then
I
didn't
remember
hear
ever
from him for 2
having
months.
with this
It was a
friend, like
complete
this dear friend. We
stalemate.
went to see. It was a day of work. They always take a day off for deer season.
Earlier, they had
And I was an electrician with this friend of mine. They take off at noon at the first day of deer season every year, and me and him were the only people that weren't hunters. So we went to see Interview with the Vampire instead, and it's one of my greatest
By the way, we're in the
memories
middle of a
ever.
12-year stalemate. You want to technically call it a stalemate. Friend tracks.
I stayed home, and maybe I shouldn't have stayed home, but who knows what the proper way to negotiate is. I don't know. You know, they always told me to get a lawyer, so I finally got a lawyer and did what the lawyer told me to do. It was pretty stupid.
My friend, I thought he had passed away because I had heard from him for like 12 years, and I was just so worried that something had happened to him, and he emailed me about 3 weeks ago.
Still teaching.
What
happened? I'm not teaching anybody.
He just moved away to like St. Thomas.
On the head with a hammer. Well, fuck you. I'm going to keep myself in the head with a hammer. What's the point?
So do you think they wanted you off the show, or do you think they just didn't want to pay you?
Like, it makes me so sad.
I never thought they wanted Jesus. I had never even let that thought go through my head. I mean, like, it's impossible.
Are you going to call me a Jew bastard now?
No, that's a very viable question. Like, you know, because if they wanted me off the show the first time, why would they have? Because they went from a figure to another.
There was a big conspiracy to get him off the show. They wanted him. I like Jack. I like working with him. I turned to him when we were in that private jet to Vegas.
He's in Arizona now.
Vegas. I said to her, we're sitting there eating steaks, lobsters. Jackie was snurring everything he could into that fucking handbag, this beach bag he carried. Bottles of champagne, you name it, in that fucking bag. What a schnurr. I said to him, Jack, where are you ever going to be treated simultaneously? And text messaging each other during the interview.
I don't care. I like to get along with that anyway.
Is that so weird?
They're not going to do it.
This is where
She's shoving
my
endless freebies into that beach bag. It was the beach, a magical beach bag, like Felix's bag of tricks.
almost like
It was bottomless. Robin, I saw cases of water. When Richard said the champagne, you could have had a funny let's say you weren't talking. Let's say you all in that bag. It was bottomless. What would you have said? I mean, it was unbelievable.
Figure to another figure, so they moved twice. I mean, they were incremental.
So it was a process.
It was a process for about 5 minutes, and then it stopped.
And they just got too ahead.
But if it wasn't like, here's what we're offering, take care, get the hell out of here, and you know, and it certainly was insulting. You know, what my salary was to begin with wasn't insulting. You know, I mean, it was a lot of money. It was a lot of money for a guy on the radio. It just wasn't a lot of money for a guy. I know, everybody's sick of that.
Richard,
I do. I love this. Listen, I gave him a show on Howard when I was on.
That's so not true.
Richard, you're crying.
That's why I like him.
What
I
kind
got
of
tape.
crazy hillbilly
I
scenario?
still can't believe that this guy doesn't have a thought process. He's a bright guy. I'd love to give him an IQ tape. I guarantee he'd be high.
No, he moved.
But when it comes to common sense, there isn't any. I hate to say
This
it.
was
I told you
years
not to be
ago. I didn't even have a phone number back then. When I lived in Missouri, I lived in a warehouse. I had no phone, barely had a bathroom. And he moved to the Virgin Islands to go on a boat tour and just to kind of live life and enjoy life and live on a boat. So he didn't really have contact.
That flight to Vegas, Benji was clinging to the wing.
Never.
He wouldn't even let him make it. He wouldn't even let him sit in the plane. Jackie thinks Benji ruined the river.
You're not that important to him?
I think Benji sat there.
No, he said he was like real broken up when he emailed me. He was like, He goes, I can't believe, I just found you. I saw you on the internet. And he said he's been looking for me for years, too.
Wants to be back on.
Have you ever just went in and maybe tried to make amends with Robin? Because he seems to be the one that's really...
And you know what I did? This is so...
We had a Christmas party, and everybody...
I had a Christmas party, and I invited him.
3 or 4 years ago, like I know his full name, so I called everybody with that name in like several states in the United States to see if it was him. I looked up information, and it was like 50 or 60 different guys with his name, and a lot of them just hung up on me.
I gotta tell you something, Howard. I had a female friend who was telling me a story
or did I marry?
where, somebody, some good friend of hers left and she was
tried to make amends with...
I know Jackie doesn't like one of those days back.
Hello, is this the Patrick Boyd Anderson who knows Richard Christie?
When I was using comic books.
Hi, is this the Patrick?
Pictures of Richard's during when the Dominic stayed on. I took it over.
Will was telling me, I'm sorry, Fred, Will was telling me that Richard came to him and said, Will got the maid that he uses, so he asked him for the recommendation of the maid. Will gave the number. Will said he went to the apartment and he said, do not call my maid. She's a cleaning woman, not a slave. She doesn't do crime scenes. I don't want you embarrassing me by using my maid.
I would tip her.
I have a question for Richard. This was a friend from back then.
Yeah, well, like the greatest times of my life,
but he's from your hometown.
No, from when I lived in Missouri.
You didn't have family there or other friends that might have been in
Nobody.
Have you ever seen an interview with a vampire? Do you remember a blotchy gay guy who saw it?
I don't want anyone to think Richard is gay. But Richard will be getting his asshole bleached on the just a few weeks.
Robin, because he seems to be the one that's really...
you guys have you've never had a dear friend that, like, when you think about them, you think about all these great memories, all the fun times you had.
And everybody could have been nicer. Robin said to me, why haven't you called me to go to dinner? And I was like, from what I hear...
You on acid? You want to go to dinner with Jackie?
Well, this guy, we had it was really the time of my life, that time that I lived in Missouri.
I had to go to dinner with Jackie.
Not as a gay guy, I didn't love him, but I loved him as a friend.
But he's not crying again, aren't you? Let him talk about his friends so we can see what he's doing. Tell us what you love.
Well, just that we used to work together, and we just had so many great times. He was such a good friend, and well, when I explain it, it's goofy shit. Like, we used to make horror movies together, and low-budget movies, and we used to watch, him and his wife and me would watch horror movies together.
Jackie, feel free.
I don't want to burn any
I would flip around. That's why it's so sad. Like, when I open that email,
you can leave the show tomorrow. You can go to... Because you get a job at Twitter, I do not want to stand in your way. Feel free.
Black jokes. That is hard. I don't think you I sound like a fag right now. Sorry.
I heard what you said. As much as I want that show exclusively, I'm willing to put my thing about all the good times. I don't know how they were going to succeed.
Yeah, kind of. But he explained, we've talked a lot since he contacted me, and he's had a great life. He's married now, kids, and he got the jaws off.
I could have been given birth to it.
You must be intoxicated. You would never want to go to dinner with me, and she actually Facebooked me like she Facebooked me like a month or two ago.
Because otherwise, he would have never been able to find me.
Congratulations.
You should what about thanking Ben Franklin for inventing
This one requested
Absolutely. I got it.
Thank you.
Go, and I actually asked her
Thank you, Howard, because the way he found me was he found out
to make sure it was her. You know, I asked her a question that only she would know the answer to, and she wrote back, yeah, it's, like what street you grew up on. she wrote back the right answer. But then I never heard from her again. So, have I ever gone in with my hat? I mean, I told them I would love to be back on the show, and I have no animosity. I really can't apologize because I don't think should I just say I'm sorry for whatever I did? If I, tell me what I did wrong, and I'll say I'm sorry. I shouldn't have stayed home, but that was my only negotiation tool left.
How do we all manage to negotiate without that? How does that happen? How do you manage never to walk out? You love him so much. How come you used to say to Jack, you talked to me, I have to go. I don't walk out. Fred doesn't walk out.
Right. Well, again, we have agents. For years, he wouldn't get an agent. He was doing this all on
The only obvious answer is no.
You wouldn't blow your friends when you laugh so much that you cry.
I'd cry as he passed away, and I would hope he would understand.
Right? I mean, I've been, and you know what the truth of it is, Tom did say to us, if you don't get this straightened out pretty soon, you're going to lose your, when you finally sign your contract, it goes retro to January 1st at the new salary. And he said, he actually kind of, so he kind of pushed the envelope over, like, hey, if you don't sign, you're going to lose the retro stuff. And I'm not putting any blame on him, but like,
great comedy.
As a businessman, Tom has absolutely no vested interest other than, dollars and cents.
They tried to negotiate with him. He turned it down twice. And then Tom said, all right, it's over. There's no blame.
What has happened to you?
I don't know.
Is this the result of just having an emotional week last week as well?
No. I was real emotional.
I told everybody I would love to be back on the show, and if they wanted me back on the show.
How long ago was it when he emailed?
Oh, come on.
About 3 or 4 weeks ago.
So you're back.
To me, that's as big an olive branch as you could.
Why, when you have seen the great memories you've had, does it get you all choked up? It's not as if he died, though.
No, I know, but we had so much fun. And are you trying to make me cry now, too?
I tried to hire him. I couldn't get him. I couldn't afford him.
No, I'm just saying, it's clearly means a lot.
When I talk about this, I get all choked up. Just, I had so many good times. It's just like when you have a best friend and you don't know what happened to
Gary and Fred and Robin have been on.
And so it's almost tears of joy that you reconnected.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a whole lot of.
I'd go like that. It'd be 10 minutes of Robin, or I'd say Marshall.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with it. That was like, if that would have never happened, I'd still be choked up.
Okay, we'll put that aside though. This might help you actually get back in the ring with Artie, so to speak.
Orchestrated.
It just seems like when you come in now, he's starting to wear down a little bit. He wants to make fun of you.
Anything to affect the show.
I'm saying, like, this could be an olive branch.
And I was in trouble, but that was my job.
Right. I'm saying he's starting to come around.
That was my job. You know what I mean? So, I can't believe that they have animosity towards me, but maybe they do. They're mad at me for fucking up the Beatles.
I knew you were a loving guy, but I didn't know you were
I was mad at John for breaking up the band. Well, take John back in the fucking band.
I'm not mad at him for breaking up. He decided to leave. I'm not mad. And guess what? The Beatles are doing just fine.
You know what? It's more fun without him.
That's it. He doesn't get it.
That's it.
I'm not saying there aren't morons.
Yeah, elaborate. Explain to him why it's more fun without him.
People just get along better here. Nobody's in awe.
Right. We just come in, we enjoy doing the show.
Yeah, everybody really wants to be here.
Right.
And everybody really has a good time being here.
And quite honestly, there seems to be a better rhythm. To use someone else's words.
All right, do you want any more or are you done?
Oh, no.
Leaving was the best decision he ever made.
All right, let's hear it.
Or do you want to hear Howard doesn't want him back? All right, I'll play you Howard doesn't want him back.
Well, I don't know how leaving was the best decision he ever made, but since he wants to come back.
That's what I'm saying. This is about 10 minutes later. He goes all over the place.
Everybody wants me to say that I'm sorry I left. I feel terrible.
He's absolutely sorry.
That The fans are upset, and I feel terrible how much it affected the show. But
it didn't affect the show in the least.
Oh my God!
We had a bunch of good years with Artie. I don't know. We're having fun. We seem to move from terrestrial to satellite. And,
Yeah.
you know, everything's.
How did it affect the show?
I don't know. The show's still going. People still want us. I don't know.
it was the best single decision I ever made. I've had.
Why? Why do you say that?
Because I've never been healthier or happier.
And the show, of course, was making him unhealthy.
Well, let me say this. We care about Jackie's health.
Right.
And that's why he can't come back.
That's it. Thank you. Go have dinner with him and explain that.
And I certainly don't want him unhappy in any way.
You know,
See, that's the important thing, which
I'm going to blame the show for him being unhealthy.
hasn't really come up, is that...
We met him.
I think, here's my theory. He left the show. His life was completely in shambles.
Yeah.
And he stopped drinking because he said, what the fuck did I just do?
I got to get myself together.
Very successful. I guess if I sat on the beach for 12 years, I'd be healthier, too. And happier.
No, because nobody believes it. You know, it was like one of those dominoes things where I would have never got divorced. I would have never quit drinking. And that's nobody's fault. That's my own fault. But I knew I was caught in the golden handcuffs. Oh, Jackie, why don't you just stop working weekends? Because of dangling money that any comedian that ever worked for...
Well, now no one's dangling money.
That happened, you know, too. So that was a problem. That's gone now.
Yeah. Everything's been solved. In other words, he was tired and burnt out. So instead of giving up his weekend gigs...
He gave up his job.
He gave up his job, and now the weekend gigs are gone.
$20 a night is not going to turn down 20 grand a night. They're just not. And other comics totally get it.
I thought you didn't care about money.
So some of it was self-preservation.
You know, it really was. I knew I had to quit drinking eventually. But those are my own demons. I don't put that on anyone. I don't think
you're putting it on us.
My whole thing is, it was my right to make a decision. I made the decision, and I lived with it.
No, we made the decision.
Bullshit.
Why would race be on my mind?
You were lobbying for more money. You didn't get it. You
blew up
stayed
in your
away.
face.
And then
2 months later, you wanted your job back.
You decided that it was a great decision. You didn't make a decision. You were staying.
I told Jackie, if he wants to be a great broadcaster, I did tell him this. You got to come clean and be honest. That's not an honest answer.
It's like Ellen DeGeneres saying she didn't want to judge people.
Yeah. She wants to judge people. She just was lousy at it.
Yeah.
She won't admit it.
Jackie wanted to keep this job.
Right.
He blew up in his negotiation and ruined it.
That's right.
And so now he decided to leave.
Right. It's the best decision he ever made.
And I've just really enjoyed my life for the last 8 or 9 years. And I know people don't want to hear
but it's been 11 years.
He's been gone 12 years.
He's been gone 12 years and he's enjoyed 8 or 9 of them. All right, that's not a bad.
Not a bad track record.
But that is the gospel.
The gospel.
Don't have sex
according to Jack.
with black men.
So,
I sincerely mean
all right, here's the last one.
I sincerely
this is
behind the fact
he figured out that I don't want him
joking.
back.
And
In all truth be told, and I think anybody in here would agree with me, if he wanted me on that show, I'd be there.
That would be me.
Yeah.
I'm referred to as he.
Finally, you were making some decision.
Right. Finally.
Not they, not
no.
we.
Bottom line, he figured out that if I really wanted Jack on the show, somehow he'd be back. Despite
Somebody else sat Benji next to him, but
right.
you could get him back on
right.
the show.
Howard, Fred, Gary, they all get to weigh in, but if Howard wanted me there, I think I'd be there. And that's the truth. You know what I mean? I mean, he loves them and respects them to death, but I really think it's, and push comes to shove, you know.
Do you have a thought of maybe why he hasn't asked you to come back?
He's cheap. No, see, I told you. No, I have no. You know, it's all. I'm sure it's over. I'm sure he thinks the ship has sailed, and I'm sure it has. Although, the one thing that doesn't make sense is the few times I've walked back in there, it's been so great. But you know, maybe it's like going to dinner with your ex-wife. You can have a great time because you're in. You know, at the end of dinner, she's going home and you're going home. You know.
I knew we'd have a Jackie analogy.
Well, it's a good one. You know what I mean? But
complimenting himself. It's a good analogy. I'm his ex-wife.
Jairus, seriously, do you agree?
It's like dating your ex-wife.
No, but Jairus, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I think you and Nancy are a very nice couple. No, I know exactly. No, I know what you mean.
But do I think it? I think it'd be great fun, you know. And it was very weird. I have no idea. And one of the reasons I haven't gone in there and actually confronted it and say, what's the deal? Because I don't know what the deal is with Artie. And the last thing I would want to do is be saying, you know, let me have a seat. If
yeah, Jackie would never want to step on Artie's toes. You know how thoughtful Jackie is.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, that's what I'll tell Jackie. We're waiting for Artie.
That's right.
Yeah, we got it's like the Seder. We're waiting for Elianovi to walk through the door.
If that job's still, that makes the whole thing crazy. But everybody says, no, he's not coming back, which, I think it's a dead issue, but I loved being on the show, and that's where I stand.
All right. There it is, a little of Jackie's show from last night, a little recap, if you will.
That is so much fun.
That is so much fun.
How come I still love talking to Jackie about why he left?
Maybe you want him back, and he can come in every day and talk about why he left. It's all over the place, isn't it? That's why you love it. Because you don't think any of that's real. That's why you love it.
I love the spin.
Wouldn't it be the incredible Jackie the communicator if he sat down and said, ladies and gentlemen, I called this show tonight that you can ask any question, and now I'm going to be the real Jackie.
Mm-hmm.
I made the biggest blunder of my life. I was a comic, was struggling for many years. In fact, I think when we hired Jackie, he was in his 40s. I don't know. I'm not kidding. Right?
Could have been.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And suddenly this guy, this very popular, guy on a roll, radio announcer, has a great team, taps me to be on the show, and I made a terrible mistake. And I want to warn the kids out there not to do this kind of thing. There's no job like what I had in radio. It was a one in a million. I was making great money. Also, my stand-up career blew up. Right. It was unbelievable. All because of this show and the fans. And I fucked it all up. I fucked it up. And I could kick myself in the head for this. And Howard even begged me. He said, listen, Jackie, do another 5 years. Make some money. Put it in the bank. He said it to me, and I ignored him. And that guy is a good friend. Because
it was the stupidest decision I ever made.
Right. He tried to tell me, and I didn't listen. And I am throwing myself at the feet of 10 psychiatrists to straighten me out. Wouldn't that be refreshing?
Getting the smile out of his voice,
yeah, right.
That whole thing, and just really coming clean.
But that's not Jackie. Though.
Yeah, sounds out of character.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but it would be compelling to hear the real guy. Oh, my God, I blew it. I blew it.
You're talking to the guy who blew one of the best gigs ever.
When you hear about Pete Best missing out on the Beatles, as Jackie always uses Beatles analogies, or you hear about, I don't know,
Brian Dunkelman
saying, I don't really need American Idol. I want to do my own thing. I mean, when you hear these stories, you go out, and Jackie should say, I'm Brian Dunkelman.
And, it's puzzling to me that he had this rant on Howard 100.
101.
101.
Right.
But that's the Howard Stern Network.
That's right.
He's saying that, all this ranting and raving.
Oh, I love it.
On the Howard
My fans love it. That's why I hired Jackie. Listen, and you know why I hired Jackie? Why? I feel bad for the fucking guy. This guy, I could not believe how he was self-destructing. So when he sat me down to dinner about 2 years ago, I don't know how long has he been on our channels now.
Oh, it's been at least 3.
3 years ago, we sat down, had a dinner, and he threw himself to me, and he said, listen, I would love to do an hour on the stations. Do you think I could do it? And I felt for the guy. He's not a bad guy. He's a very nice guy, and a fun guy, and a talented guy. But he just is his own worst enemy with this thing.
Yeah, despite the rant, he is engaging. He has interesting metaphors.
Well, when it comes to this, he's very interesting.
The Beatles.
All right, the Beatles. Can you imagine? He's in the Beatles. And he was Paul, right?
John, he was
yes.
Paul. Yes.
Yeah, because John...
You're John, he's Paul.
Right, that's what it sounded like, what he said.
And... You, Benji, were the guitar player.
No, Benji was...
he's the extra guitar player.
Yeah.
Well, they use a Beatles analogy. The Beatles used to bring in Billy Preston to play on some of their songs.
Right, because they wanted keyboards.
But to Jackie's like, well, that must have fucked up the rhythm. Well, Benji's Billy Preston. And I brought him in because I thought he added some flavor. I don't know. The Beatles even would bring in occasional musicians.
Sure.
Sure. Why not?
People are fascinating, and Jackie is the most fascinating.
There you go. I used to think you were fascinating. You're nothing compared to me.
Oh, absolutely nothing.
Big deal. A little cock here and there. It's not that fascinating.
That's right.
A lot of people are doing that.
Gary, so why do you think Jackie needs to constantly revisit his explanation for leaving the show?
Well, because people ask him about it all the time. Why do you think people ask Suzanne Summers why she left Three's Company? Or the other guy why he left MASH? The other guy whose name I can't even remember. But no, he left. He was a big part of the show, and he left. And I'm sure it's whenever he gets in any setting with anybody, whether he buys guys a drink at the bar, at some point when they feel comfortable, they'll be like, "What happened? What really happened?" And so it's it's something that he'll live with. Not that it's a negative thing, but it's something that's a part of him.
You don't think? You said it's not negative. Do you think like it gets to him, that it gets under his skin?
No, because I think Jackie in his heart thinks he's right. I think Jackie really believes he didn't do anything wrong, and he didn't do anything wrong except he left.
Yeah.
I think he thinks we did something wrong.
What do you think about him saying when Benji came in that kind of messed up the rhythm?
To me, that's so weird. It messed up Jackie's rhythm, maybe, but every show adds writers, it takes writers away. You can't keep that means that we should never change. And so, Howard wanted to add a writer to the mix, and I think that's it. Like I said, it messed up Jackie's rhythm, but you got to think of the big picture.
You think that was like the beginning of it?
No. No. That had Jackie's rhythm being messed up and him wanting more money have nothing to do with each other in my mind. Okay. He left because he wanted more money, whether his rhythm was on or off.
Robin, so what do you make of this whole Jackie thing? Why do you think he feels the need to bring this up again?
Well, if you had done something that you couldn't undo, and, for most of the rest of your life, people looked at you and said, how could you mess up a situation like that? You'd always, I think, probably be trying to spin it.
He just can't get over it.
No, absolutely not, because he's still out there, standing at the window looking in.
And what do you think, how he said that Benji messed up the rhythm of the show? What do you think about that?
Well, I'm a great believer in rhythm. And I never noticed Benji messing up any rhythm of any show. I know when the rhythm is off. And it wasn't Benji if it was off.
You heard that stuff that Jackie was saying about he thinks that you threw the rhythm off the show?
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
Well, it doesn't bother me as much as it seems to, like, in a way I'm flattered that everyone seems, in a way, defensive about it, but, like, I don't think he's saying that my quality was bad or my content was bad. I think he's just saying what he did, it made it harder, which I could understand. And, I have some gratefulness to Jackie for he basically created the template of what I do. It's really all Howard, but it's like, he was an innovator with that kind of process.
So you don't feel that you threw any rhythm off?
No, I might have. I don't know. That's I can't judge how Jackie would feel about something like that. But I could understand what he's saying. That it could have made what he was, but
no hard feelings.
No, not. I mean, there was times in the past when I thought Jackie was mean to me, but I don't think this is being mean to me, and I think I have a nice, friendly, polite, hey, how you doing relationship with Jackie.
Were you surprised that everyone in the studio took your side on this?
No. I mean, no.
It's got to feel good though that everyone thinks you
right,
do a
but
good
again,
job
I think they're talking two different arguments. I mean, I think Jackie's saying one thing and people are kind of
they're not
kind
really
of responding to something a little different than what he was saying.